exciting. 9 days away from the season opener, Augustana football. They have head coach Jerry Olszewski, C.J. Ham, Brandon Moore, Chad Curry, Trey Hyde, and Brian Long with us today. I'm going to go ahead and let Coach start us with an opening statement, and then from there on we'll have the student athletes and coach answer questions.
I want to thank you all for coming today. As always, this is always a special day for any football program, certainly our football program, to come up in the President's Suite over this beautiful KO Stadium. It's been a great fall camp, my most fun camp I've had in my career. 23 years in this business. Every year brings a different challenge, but this group of young men make it fun to come to work every day more than any other. Their attitude and effort has been tremendous. I think that we come with the mentality every day of getting better. A big word for us this year is finish. We were in a lot of ball games last year that came down to the last drive, last series, last 4 minutes of the game. That could have determined a different fate, but that is last year. We're a windshield football team. We're going to look forward, not backwards, and I believe we're a better team than we were in Game 11 last year. And that is a huge part to the commitment that was made by this football team. 60 guys stayed this summer to commit themselves to Augustana football, and those efforts have shown during fall camp, they've shown during the summer, and in the relationships and tightness of this football team has shown as well. So I couldn't be more ecstatic about our future. We also understand that the future is now, and we need to get better play by play, series by series, game by game with that same 1-0 mentality we started with when we got this job. And that's not a trite statement. That's truly the way we're going to look at it. We're going to be humble and hungry, and I got the right guys leading the way. Our team selected our captains, and you see these 4 young men along with Trey Hyde, who's obviously a team leader of ours. I don't think they could have selected any better, and I trust the keys to this car with these gentlemen right ahead of me that are going to be speaking with you today. So we look forward to your questions. Opening up with Bemidji on the road that first Saturday on September 5 at 6 o'clock start, and just can't wait. So great recruiting class also has shown itself this fall, and the upperclassmen have shared that, Coach, we're going to be good for a long time. So it's refreshing to see those efforts come forward in the 27 kids that are new to our program as well. So we welcome all your questions, and thanks for coming today.
CJ, I'll go first. CJ, can you talk a little bit about how is this year coming into the season in camp different, being that it's, if it is different, that it's the 3rd year now with this coaching staff? Is there a little bit more continuity? Does it feel like there's momentum in the 3rd year?
Yes, we've definitely been building something great. I mean, when he first got here, we knew we picked the right guy, and every single year it's gotten better and better. And just going into this season, I've never been as confident with the group of guys, especially our head coach, and our other staff too as well. I just feel really confident with them.
That sounded really good, CJ.
Appreciate you,
Coach, you talked about improvement day in and day out. We were out a couple of weeks ago. What kind of leaps and bounds has the team made over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, normal fall camp strides. I thought we came out of spring really sharp. Brandon's been our defensive leader since I've been here, and kind of holds the torch of that group, and Chad's done a great job on the back half. And we got Bryson kind of leading the charge up front, so our defense has been growing since that day one, but I thought we came out of spring very sharp, and the kids were able to pull in a lot of the things we did over spring, use them this summer, and come ready to go. Offensively, I just feel like we keep turning the forward page. When we started to build this offense 3 years ago, we sputtered and didn't have the parts and the pieces that I thought were necessary for success, and every year it's improved. Last year we broke an all-time school record with yardage, and that doesn't mean anything because we didn't win enough ball games. But I think you're going to see more of that going forward. I think having CJ and more carries and more reps in, I think is going to help us as a football team, and he was certainly a great threat with Dejan and CJ last year, but in a new different role. And Trey, I think, is going to play even better football than he did last year, with a better offensive line unit playing with us, and I just see the strides coming every day. And you're in a good fall camp and a good program when one day the defense wins, next day the offense wins, one period the defense wins, next period the offense wins. That's when you're a successful football team, because if you're one-sided in this league, you aren't going anywhere. So that's what I've seen to this point, a hungry football team.
Brian, your coach said a moment ago, I think he said the future is now. For some of you seniors, upperclassmen, is there a sense of urgency this year that you need to accomplish something special?
Definitely. I mean, this is our last shot. There's no other better time than right now. So I'm not worried about 3 years down the road, because this is the only one I got right now. So just focusing one day at a time with urgency.
So what kind of goals are you setting?
I mean, goals realistically, it's just win one game at a time, focus on the next opponent every single week.
Coach, you said you finished 6-5 last season. It was an okay season. How do you guys improve off of that and possibly even win conference and make it to the tournament?
Billy just answered it. It's one game at a time and finish, what I talked about earlier. You know, 3 of those losses were 6 points or less. All 3 of those games were in the last series of the game. Pretty simple math. You win those 3 and you're at 9. 9 wouldn't have got it done last year either. You know, we're not going to talk about championships. We're not going to talk about anything else. You know, we got some numbers that mean something within our core of our team, and our guys understand what those mean. But I will not let the outside world dictate our success and certainly define our failures as within our program. That's internal, and that's for us to handle as a staff. I have a very mature football team. Though we're young. I mean, we got 78 sophomores and younger kids on our team. We're a young bunch. I got the right leaders. So how you do that? One play at a time, one game at a time. And I know you guys don't like that verse, but it's true for us. It is who we are. You know, we haven't earned anything yet, so we better be pretty hungry and humble. And then when you do have success, never forget who you are or where you came from, because you're bound to go back there if you do. So that's who we are, and that's our mentality.
Chad, excuse me, when you look at this defense, some new faces obviously in the front 7 with some graduation. The secondary I know is still maybe a little young, but there's a lot of experience there. I mean, everybody back from last year basically. Is there, I want to use the word pressure, but will the secondary maybe take it on themselves to sort of lead that defense this year, knowing that there's a lot of experience and talent in that group?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just go out there and we do our job every day and just try to get better each day. So, I mean, we played a lot of snaps last year. We got a lot of guys returning, and we got some talent back there, and I think we're going to be really good this year. And as a defense as a whole, you know, I think we could be pretty good.
What do you sense that maybe some of those younger guys who are coming back now with a year of experience that they got out of that?
Well, I think game experience is very important, and those young guys, you know, we got Jordan Johnson, really talented corners, that when they get game experience, it helps them out, you know, these upcoming years and further down the road.
Coach, last year you talked about really establishing that this is your house at this stadium. You ended up going 2-3 at home. How do you improve that? I'd imagine the goal hasn't changed. You want to set an atmosphere here at the stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. We believe we have the finest place to play, not only in this conference, but in the country. We're really blessed. And I remind our guys often how blessed they are that the gatekeepers of this institution have put us in a pretty good position. With that said, we need to own it. This year we'll have 6 home games. You know, we have 7 games in Sioux Falls. So, you know, they'll be sleeping in their own beds on a Friday night a lot this year. With that said, the schedule flips, and as it is right now, the power in the South, powers be in the South. That's this half the conference is a little better right now. We'll see what this year brings, but the teams that we lost to at home were no slouch. I think collectively had 3 losses amongst them. So those are the games you got to win, and of those games, we were right in the battle, in the thick of it. So yeah, we want to make it our house. When you practice, I've got to remind our guys, we practice here every day, but you got to turn it up on game day, because when this place gets going on a Saturday, it's a pretty electric atmosphere, as you guys have been around. That's up to us. That's up to us to make sure that people want to come to a game and they're excited about what we're doing and make this a true home field advantage here at KO.
Brandon, getting back to the secondary a little bit, we talked last week about the front 7 and how you guys are coming along and working every day in practice. Will you guys be helped by having that experienced secondary behind you? What sort of role will they play in advancing this defense as the season progresses?
I think it helps having experience in the back or in the secondary. We have 3 senior linebackers. There's 3 seniors that are also in the secondary. So we don't have to worry as much about coaching up that area as much as we have our D-line, which we have a lot of young guys on the D-line this year. And that gives them an exciting opportunity to step up and fill some shoes that left last year. So we're excited. Having them there allows us to focus more on our front 4. So.
You're going to blitz a lot, right?
Every down. There you go.
We'll be moving a little bit. Fair enough.
Works for me. We do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we do.
What do you think, OJ? Can you talk a little bit about role of the secondary?
Yeah, you know, being a former defensive coordinator, anytime you're salty on the back half, I can do a lot of stuff in the front seven. You know, and I think we're one of the most disciplined defenses in our league, if not the country, and our numbers show that since we've arrived here, that we're in the top 3, top 4, just about every category defensively. But now, with some new players up front, we have to put more pressure on the quarterback. That was one of the things of emphasis this spring. We realized from last year that we did give a little bit too much time, and there's a lot of returning quarterbacks in the league this year. So those guys have some experience and can pick you apart if they have too much time. So we worked on that as a staff. We went and talked to some people about some pressure packages. And then complemented some of the things that we currently already do that now we believe we have a little more confidence in our back half that, you know, we're going to leave some guys necessarily in an opportunity to go make plays and create an atmosphere that quarterback's going to get uncomfortable and maybe throw the ball to a spot he shouldn't. And now we just got to finish. We had several balls last year that were through our hands that we could have completed. Not Chad, not saying. Although you did too. No, but we had several balls last year that went through our hands that we just got to finish on. And I think that our front seven, we will be moving a lot more now. I think that will be a tough defense and tough to figure out because we are so complex on what we do.
CJ, now that Dejan Newell's gone, I mean, it's been a two-headed month. We talk about, you know, both of you combined. Now that you're kind of looked at as being the focal point of the backfield, how do you embrace that and taking some of the pressure off your quarterback and your wide receivers?
Well, just first having Dejan was a blessing. I mean, Dejan was a great player and arguably the best running back to come out of this school. And these past 3 years, I've learned so much from him. And if I didn't have him, I feel like I wouldn't be ready for this opportunity. But saying that, like, I am very ready for this opportunity, and I'm excited. I'm excited to take it, and I'm just ready to do whatever I can to better our team.
For some of you that have come to practices, you see CJ is a little more explosive, even more than he was last year. He trimmed down a little pounds, and he's always been explosive back. But you know, he'll be certainly up to the charge that we ask him to do. There's no question in my mind. Our team as well.
So does his role change then because of the way that he had, you know, you say trimmed down or whatever? Do you use him in the same role, or do you alter that just a little bit then?
No, we're not changing anything. CJ Ham is CJ Ham, and I love him the way he is. We're not changing a darn thing. He's going to be downhill, and he's a tough man to tackle. You know, and if you think you're going to go low on him, he's got the ugliest dead leg I've ever seen. You know, he can go stiff on you and get vertical, and he's going to be a great player in the NSIC this year. And teams are going to have to decide how much you want to pack the box, because Trey Hyde can do some things special as well as wide receiver core with Matt Heller and Charlie Hayes and Trevor Shepard and some guys that can play and run around a little bit. So our tight ends have been probably the most consistent in our offense this fall since I've been here. So we got some weapons to help CJ and Trey out as well.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the opening game against Bemidji and what you expect out of it?
Yeah, you know, Bemidji is a tough, physical, strong, big football team. You know, they haven't had the record that they're traditionally used to, but that's a prideful program, well-coached team without question for years to come. I've known Coach Tesh for a lot of years, and they're well-coached, and they're going to play hard, and it's a tough team to beat at home, especially in their opener. I called around and asked some of my colleagues in the north, and it's kind of funny when you ask them, you know, where's the toughest place to play? And there's 3 schools that come to mention. I think you can figure out which 3 they might be, and Bemidji's in that mix with those guys when you ask them. So our guys are going to be ready to go, and they realize that we're not just going to stroll in and play ball like it was here a couple years ago. I think that was not indicative of that football team, because they played better football as a year ago. So we'll be ready, and they will too. On a night game, 6 o'clock on the lake, you know, they have a lot to prove as well as we do, you know, the changing program and where the tides are. So we're excited for that opportunity. We're looking forward to it. I'm sure the Beavers are looking forward to us coming and meeting them too.
Well, Jay, have you used the word playoffs at all with this team, or do you keep those sorts of things, you know, in the back burner, so to speak?
Yeah, I think that every program has the same goal in mind. You know, when you have a good program, you know, everybody's going around the country just to say we're going to win the national championship. That happens for one team. You know, and we happen to play a team that played in it. You know, so we can at least have a measuring stick of what that might look like. But you know, for us, you know, it's an opportunity for us to play ball every Saturday. And I tell these guys, and they'll tell you when I leave this room, we're promised 11. It's our job to get 12. You know, our AD gave us 11. Our conference gives us 11. It's our job to get to the 12th one. And I believe that if we can get in, that we'll be a tough playoff team. for teams not only in our conference, but outside our conference, because our conference is very, very tough. So do we talk about it? You know, it's not the focal point. I think too many coaches talk about the past rather than the future. We just want to make sure that we're ready to go every Saturday. And if we're good enough to get into that spot, then we'll raise the cup and we'll go. And if we're not, then we know where our measuring stick is for improvement moving forward. I just want to get better one game at a time. I really do. You know, I want to be better than we were last year. I want to make sure our kids have that goal, and that's what we shoot for. So yeah, we want to play 12. You know, and if we play 12, I think we're on our way to playing more than 12. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Trey, you're kind of just sitting there, so here's a question for you. As a quarterback, what do you expect of yourself as a leader of this team going into the season?
I'd say pretty much everything that I stepped into last year. It comes with the position. You got to be a leader. I mean, just because I'm not a captain, I don't feel like I'm not a leader of this team. I think these guys help me out a lot. I mean, it's easy once you got a monster behind you, and then Bill makes most of the calls up front. And we got a couple of the best skill guys in at least the conference, maybe the nation. So, I mean, my job is pretty easy when they're that good and they're playing as well as they are right now. I just got to function.
Become more humble over the years. Trey's improvement is something very impressive from his freshman year to his sophomore year, and we know he's going to be better in his junior year. But the biggest improvement and pride that I have in Trey Hyde is his leadership. His maturity has grown. Play, that speaks for itself. On any given Saturday, we are judged by a lot of people, and the scoreboard is the final determiner. But that young man has become a man. He's not a little boy anymore. He's a man, and he's a leader, and our huddle trusts him, and he's really grown up, and I look forward to a great year from him.
Trey and Brian, can you touch on obviously just replacing one spot on the offensive line and return of Sam Lee? Can you just touch on the strength of your front five and what it's been like so far this fall camp, and what you want to touch on?
I mean, getting Sam back obviously is a great thing for us. He played a lot of snaps, experienced guy, very good offensive lineman. As a whole, I think it's just it's more unity this year, I would say, so far. I mean, everybody's on the same page, we're working together, and it's just trying to be that attitude of, you know, 5 against everybody else. So.
I think Bill hit it pretty much right on the head. I mean, the thing I've noticed a lot more is just it's a wall up front a lot of the time. You just get to stand there and make reads. I mean, it's nice. You can actually be a pocket quarterback. If I can actually do that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
It's going to be a fun year, guys. Make sure that you catch. I think the league is going to be competitive. I think there's going to be some surprises, especially midway through the season with some of the matchups. I think it's going to be an exciting year in the NSIC, and I think we'll be well represented in the postseason from our league. And we hope to be in that hunt. But it is a great group to coach, and these guys, there's a lot of love in our locker room, and it starts with these guys. The unity our team has is really special. So hopefully you see that when you come watch us play, how close our football team is, and hang with us throughout this thing, because it's going to be a fun ride. Fight on.